All right, I wanted to talk about outboard gear. So I want to kind of get kind of a conversation going, kind of what everybody's doing. My last album I recorded, tuning in the satellites, I did it all in the box. So it was my Apollo Twin with a lot of like unison. So I used like the Neve 1073. I used a lot. It was all in the box, right? All plugins. FabFilter Pro. A lot of I use Studio One, so Studio One plugins. And one of the things with I love Universal Audio, but the 1073, the Unison plugin, 80% of the time it was like perfect. And then there was another like 20% where I had to do a lot of like post EQ work. So when I started recording my newest album that I'm doing right now, I was like, I'm going to get a Neve. So I got the Neve 1073 DPX as a dual channel. So I can run, like in stereo, like my keyboard. This solved like 100% of my EQ issues. Got me thinking, and I was like, all right, how far can I take this? Warm Audio makes some great stuff. So I have the LA2A, the 1176 compressor. Again, it just incrementally sort of just improved the sound. I'm not against plugins, but I'm curious what everybody's doing. So like when I'm recording, to me, I want to start capturing everything as best I can. The 1073 is just classic, right? Into an LA2A for vocals. Some people say do 1176 in the LA2A. I like to do the Neve into the LA2A recording, and then sort of post in the DAW, I'll use the 1176 to sort of, because it's more aggressive, to sort of like master it. That's the way I like to do it. It's kind of like hit or miss what people tell you to do. But some of the things I'm looking to do, I've got some space here. I'm using the Universal Audio, the Neve 88RS channel strip, which I love that. That's a little more surgical than the 1073. I want to get it's like the 8803. It's a dual channel EQ. My plan is to get that, to use that sort of in the DAW. And one of the things you could do with almost all DAWs, in Studio One, it's called transform to rendered audio. What that does, it takes any plugins you have, or let's say you're running like 1176, it consolidates them, and then you get rid of the plugin. So it saves CPU, and then you don't need the hardware at that point. But I think like Pro Tools, it's called like freeze. And then from there, you can unfreeze it. So let's say you're like, that wasn't quite it. You can unfreeze or transform it back to like the plugin side. And then the plugins are back, right? They're back, they take up CPU, but then you'd have to hook your 1176 back up and sort of like, redo everything. But it gives you that sort of like undo, but it allows you to run hardware when you do that. It takes a little bit longer to do because it has to render it, but you can undo. And then you can use that 1176 on like bass guitar or other backup vocals, whatever. I'm curious what everybody's using, any other ideas everybody has. Post in the comments. Appreciate it.